just touched me in such a different way, and because I had to actually take them off, and I felt just this weird connection, and I don't know if I feel guilt. I don't know what I feel about. Hello sweet lovely people, my name is Jess Marie and welcome back to the Art Shack. Today I am hanging out, doing a little bit of painting, a little bit of finishing up some projects, and kind of just chilling. It's my day off, so I'm really excited. I spent the morning with Rob. Well, we got up and had a cup of coffee, so that was always nice, and talked about our day, what we wanted to do. He wanted to learn some songs, and he's got a friend coming up from the city, so I was like, yep, I'm gonna go spend my day doing my thing. And when I was driving this morning, I saw this bird, and it was dead on the road, and it was like, oh man, you know. And first I noticed the feathers, and I was like, I want the feathers so bad. And it's like, well, I can't just go and take the feathers. And you know, I parked the car, parked the car at my house, and then walked up the road, and had a board with me that I was like, oh, just swipe it up. And you know, I sent a prayer to it, and I asked for permission if I could take some of the feathers, and I felt so wrong doing it. I felt so wrong, and it's like, honor the animal. And I started thinking, like, did people used to do this? Is this a thing that people used to do, where they'd find an animal that was deceased and they'd use the fur or use the tusk or something to do? And I didn't know what to do, so I did take some of the feathers, and I felt so bad, so odd of doing it, but I wanted to create something for the day for it. And oh, they were such beautiful feathers. I felt so bad, but I did end up taking them, and it was raining, it was pouring rain, and I just like took it off the side of the road. And at first I thought it was an owl, but I do not believe it was. Well, I know for sure it wasn't, but that is my guilt. That is the guilt that I feel, is like I asked for permission, and like, if there's ever a time, I truly believe that things will happen for a reason. And whenever I go to an area that I know I shouldn't really be in, or somewhere that is a little bit more sacred, or on banned land or anything like that, I do ask for my higher power, for God, the creator, to give me permission. Please, like, if it is not okay for me to do this, give me a sign, give me an obvious sign that I'm not allowed to do this, that I should not be here, that what I am doing is not okay. And there has been times, like sometimes, like, depending on where I am, it's like, give me a sign, like, in this moment, it's like, have a car drive by, have some people just come out of nowhere and like make noise or do something, and have some kind of noise or some kind of like rustling in the bushes. And there was no indication, nothing like that. So I sent my prayer, and you know, I took them off onto the side of the road, and you know, I'm looking at its neck and looking at its organs coming out of the neck, and I'm not around a lifeless being like that so often. So I was a little bit fascinated. I started thinking of like being a younger child, and just that fascination, and how when we're children we're so fascinated by life. Remember picking up a bee for the first time that I thought was dead, and it ended up stinging me, because it wasn't. It was just like drowned in water. I don't know what happened, or they just sting while they're dead. I don't know what happened there. But they said it was okay, and like, as I'm walking back, I'm like, well, I obviously need to create something that is symbolic. It can't just be like, add a feather here, add a feather there. All the feathers must be together. It all has to be cohesive and have a fuller meaning to it. And that's something I really like to do, is have a cohesive piece, have a story. Like with my shells, like, I do like to have some kind of story being told, even if it just looks like a bunch of jumbled up mess. I love having that cohesiveness, that well, I just want to see if anything would fall out, but having that element of a story being told. And not everybody can read the story, because it's a creator mind, right? Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. Oh, sorry, the voice change, I got a little burp stuck. But yeah, I like, or like a color scheme. I do like to have some kind of color scheme, or like a lot of times too, if I'm making things intentionally for people, it's a lot easier to be able to create a cohesive piece. But yeah, I felt a little bit of guilt about that, and I had to take some time for myself to really process it and meditate on it, and like going back to like seeing, I don't know what organ it was coming out of the neck. Like, it looked like a heart to me, but I don't know what it was, and having to put a little leaf, and then because it was windy, trying to find a rock, and it's all muddy and wet, and it's like, where's the rock? And I couldn't find a rock, so I had to get sticks and like put it over its head and do what I can. And like I do feel really wrong about it, because I just felt this disgrace of plucking feathers off something that is whole, and I was like, don't take any of the wing feathers, don't massacre this thing. And I'm sorry if this is a little gruesome or a little bit too much, but I don't know how to process it, and I don't know if I'll be able to do that again, because I did feel really wrong about doing that. And I had a grandma in my life who had told me about, like, I was telling her about how my dad's an organ donor, and she had said that her belief in her culture, when they die, when they pass, the whole body must go back to the earth. It comes in how, or it goes out how it's come into this world, and she would never do something, and a lot of people in her family would not do stuff like that. So it was just something, like, I was really thinking of her, and, you know, I think she would say it would be alright, or not necessarily tell me no, don't do that, but she'd have some kind of symbolic way of telling me about it, and I really want to create a cohesive piece, and I can't get over, this is what kills me, is just like, they're so beautiful. They're such beautiful feathers, and I felt that I couldn't let them go to waste. I couldn't, like, I also was thinking in this moment, like, going to seeing feathers in the stores, like the dollar store or something like that, and where those feathers are coming from, and like that thought alone makes me vomit. I also see feathers for me is a sign that I'm on the right path. When I see a feather, and especially on where it is, like, it really indicates for me that I'm on the right path, and that's just my own connection to it. Some people use numerology, some people use words or certain phrases or something to, like, click in. For me, it's feathers, and I don't know why that is or what caused that to be, but I find the feathers at such a weird time, and I collect them, and I like to give them away or add them to pieces. And, like, I have a whole thing of feathers that are hanging up right over there, you can't see right now. But these ones just touched me in such a different way, and because I had to actually take them off, and I felt just this weird connection, and I don't know if I feel guilt. I don't know what I feel about this. I will have to meditate a little bit more on it. I spent some time this morning really thinking about it. And I came to the conclusion I need to go for a walk, so I took the dog with me. We went for a walk in the trails, and I did some collecting. I collected, these are hydrangeas from the yard, but I did collect just like little, I don't know what these are, like baby, it's not baby's breath, but it's almost similar to it. And then I also collected these little, like, I'll call them poison berries because you can't eat them, but they're just on the forest floor. And these ones, I found these last year too. They're so cool. Oh, you cannot see the color in it. But yeah, they're super coolly colored, and yeah, so that's something I'm really trying to process, because it's something I've never done before. I've definitely come across animals and birds and stuff that it's like, oh, you know, I'm just getting into prayer as well, so setting a prayer for the animal is a very different thing for me. So prayer in general is a different thing for me, but I am trying to incorporate it in my day-to-day life, and sending prayers to people, and being able to have this connection with life, having this holistic experience of being one. We're all one. We're all in this world in harmony. God intended us to live in harmony. He created this balance, this ecosystem that is made, it's designed to be in harmony, and a lot of times we're doing things that are the exact opposite. We're trying to break apart each other, we're trying to divide one another and separate one another, and it's a very difficult thing to learn, but I am finding a lot of peace in myself through prayer and a lot of humbleness. And I just actually I didn't even know this till I was talking to Grandma like 2-3 weeks ago. I was telling her how excited I was that, like, I just started incorporating prayer in my life, and she's like, oh yeah, and like, you can pray anywhere you want. You can pray while you're washing the dishes, while you're driving, while you're working. You can pray anywhere, and like, you can ask for something you need that day. And she was really telling me like stuff like we can ask for things for ourselves, and I didn't know that we could do that. And I don't even still like to do that. Sometimes I'll ask for a little bit more patience throughout the day, or for Jesus to be there with me, just so I can have a friend and have somebody like be there with me, even though they can't help, they can't physically help, but having them there, having that embodiment and being able to laugh with someone, it's like I'm able to laugh out loud again. I went through this very difficult time over the past 2-3 years of not enjoying myself, not living in joy, and that's not necessarily being happy all the time, but living in joy and enjoying the moments, enjoying the emotions, the frustration. Frustration comes because we want to do better. Frustration is a great emotion because it teaches us that we want better. I'm frustrated. I'm really angry that my dog will pull as we're going for a walk and he won't stand by my side, but it's like, okay, well, it's something we can work towards. It means I want something better. I'm not just gonna accept that he's pulling all the time. I'm gonna do my best to take the time, slow down, and, you know, talk him through it. A lot of times, like, I was talking to Tucker all day, our little 2-year-old pup. It's like, all right, we're going on a slow walk. We're on a slow walk today. And I was going over the senses, like, what do you see? What do you smell? What can you taste? What can you hear? And of course, like, he doesn't really understand it. It's human talk. But it was still enjoyable to be able to do that and talk out loud, and as if he was there listening to it. He was listening to it, but he's like going all over the place, doing his dog thing, right? So today I'm gonna definitely take some time to create this little piece, and I'm not fully sure what I want to fill it with. I don't know if I'm gonna do, oh, this is a beautiful stick. Maybe I'll do some kind of stick like this. I would actually like a stick that rounds though. Like, this would almost be perfect. This is actually a pretty good serpenty stick. I love the texture in it. I love the smoothness, but I actually, this is the same stick. But I got these, me and my friend Kennedy, we had went down to the beach and kind of had sushi date there, and as we were walking back, I looked at this stick. I'm like, oh, that's a nice looking stick, and they asked, like, do you want it? It's like, yeah, I want it, and they went and got and picked it up for me, and it was like, oh, thanks, Kennedy, and it was awesome. So yeah, I also like this part because it's almost like a little dragon. Maybe I will do something like that. Maybe I'll make a little dragon piece, but I really wanted to incorporate some of the flowers that I collected today, and, you know, this looks like a really natural piece that I might just emphasize a little bit more, but I don't know. What other sticks do I got here? This one looks a little bit too small. This one's got a little bit of a curve to it. And I also have this big thing that I painted on the one side, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I just liked how I thought of it actually like it would be a good little piece for a wall. Like, I don't know if you can see that dip. Like, I thought it would be a good piece to be able to put on the wall and then someone could put something in there, but I don't know about that one. So yeah, oh, what's this stick? Oh no, not this one. I just added some little shell on that. I don't know what that's doing. So yeah, that's kind of what's on my mind right now and how I'm feeling, and kind of going with the rain. Definitely needed a little bit of a rain day for sure, and we've got glimpses of sun coming in and out, and it's beautiful. So thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear your opinion. Anybody who finished watching this, thank you so much, and I love you so much. Thank you. Much love. Say both those things twice. That's so funny. Such a loser. I love you so much. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.